It's a strange little bit of technical stuff that I'm never quite sure exactly when this starts because there's a bit of a delay. So here's what's going on tonight. Let me tell you about some housekeeping stuff, and then we will play a little music, and that way we won't miss any music, and that'll be good. So let's see. I wanted to tell you that I will not be reading the chat while I'm playing music for you tonight, which means that I will be a little harder to reach than just putting something in the chat conversation. If you want to send me a note, though, I am going to stop from time to time and read the questions that are in the Ask a Question button. So if you're on Crowdcast tonight, you can look right down there at the bottom of the screen, and there's a button that says Ask a Question. You can click that, put a question in there. If you're not on Crowdcast, if you're on Facebook or on YouTube and you'd like to come over to Crowdcast, that's cool. Come on. My buddy Matt Begley is being the digital concierge tonight, and he's going to be transferring your questions over to me if you're on one of the other platforms. He's going to bring those over to Crowdcast, and he will, I imagine, in the next minute or two, post the link. That's right. If you want to ask me a question, use the Ask a Question button. That's what I'm trying to say. Let's see. What else? Well, maybe I'll just play a song, and then we'll come back to some of those other details. Because, you know, songs. I appreciate y'all choosing to spend a little time with me tonight. I don't know what your experience is right now. People are having a lot of different experiences of this pandemic, and for some people it's brutally hard, and for others it's kind of a sweet reprieve. And whatever your experience is, I honor that, and I appreciate you sharing it with me. I really believe that the way all of us get through a thing like this is by being community, right? As my friend Gareth says, bring what you can and ask for what you need. So I bring some songs. I hope you like them. On a two-lane road through the mountains, I am taking the corners too fast. My head is spinning as fast as my wheels, shifting from future to past. So many things to attend to, so many places to be. The mountains roll right past my window like a half-watched barroom TV. If I could die just for a moment, let these worries work themselves out. If it would all go on without me, tell me what's all this worry about? A promise is not like a moment's not something you keep. I've made too many promises lately, and the woods are lovely, dark and deep. I remember this friend down in Florida, where she used to get lost just for fun. She'd take any turn that presented itself, just to see where the road might run. It's amazing the places they take her, the people and things that she'd find. I've been meaning to look her up again, but I can't seem to find the time. If I could die just for a moment, let these worries work themselves out. If it would all go on without me, tell me what's all this worry about? A promise is not like a moment's not something you keep. I've made too many promises lately, and the woods are lovely, dark and deep. Trying to make all the ends meet, it's like I'm skating the edge of a knife. So busy making a living, I've got no time for life. If I could die just for a moment, tell me what's all this worry about? A promise is not like a moment's not something you keep. I've made too many promises lately, and the woods are lovely. The woods are lovely, dark and deep. Yeah, so there's a request. I think it was, who asked for that one? I don't know. Anyway, somebody asked me to play that song, and hope it does you some good. I'm feeling grateful. I'm really touched that a bunch of people are choosing to spend their evening this way, and that makes me feel really supported in a time of instability for me and a lot of other people, and a lot more instability for some people than for me. But I guess stability always was a bit of an illusion, right? I mean, that's not how life works. It can all change in a moment, and sometimes for the better, and sometimes not so much for the better. So I don't know, if you're hurting tonight, I want to play you this song. It's the title track from my third album, Hard Earned Smile, which is from way back in the day. Played this song a lot of times. I wonder how many times I've played this song in my life. Quite a few. I originally wrote it about my friend Jimmy Landry, and in the years since I've found out that it's about some other people too. The faces tell stories, and I think they do. There've been some hard chapters in the story of you. There's some dark and some lonely in the lines round your eyes. 1,000 nights, tears, promises and lies. So we sit at the diner, we talk until dawn, lay it all on the table till the coffee's all gone. All the hard people you've known, you've been wounded and healed, or from where you come isn't what you are. I can hear the song ringing out over the miles, and there's nothing so true as the hope in a hard-earned smile. In a hard-earned smile. Well, we all have our trials and our lessons to learn. And if your dreams are on fire, then your heart might get burned. But to choose to be strong and have courage to heal lends truth to your song and the hope that I feel. And you said it best when you played your guitar. From where you come isn't what you are. I can hear the song ringing out over the miles, and there's nothing so true as the hope, and there's nothing so true as the hope in a hard-earned smile. In a hard-earned smile. In a hard-earned smile. A hard-earned smile. There's an old song for you. I still can't quite hear you clapping, so I hope you liked it okay, but I can't hear. It's just me. Um, I'm trying to dial in this technical stuff so that I can, get as much stuff as possible out of the way of the music. And tonight I'm trying a couple of new different things. It's all pretty simple. The guitars aren't plugged in. There's this one microphone, and so I'm singing and playing into that. And I appreciate it if y'all let me know if the guitar is too loud or whatever. And tonight I'm using this wide-angle lens that my son got for me. And I see that it has these funny little lens flares. They're subtle. It's okay. We can live with that. But my 11-year-old got me this cool wide-angle lens that I can clip right onto my computer. And what's neat about that is that you can see the whole guitar while I'm playing. And for some of you, I know there's some guitarists in the house, as it were. So I hope that's a good thing. I kind of wish I could hear your voices too and not just be monologuing here. We could dialogue, but I will check in from time to time on the questions if you want to use that ask a question button. And if you put questions in the chat on Facebook, my buddy Matt will move them over to Crowdcast so that I will see them from time to time. So as I said earlier, there's a lot of different experiences living alone and finding it quite difficult to be living alone and not be able to go out and be with people. And other people are living with their families and finding that a bit of a challenge too. And other people are living with their families and loving it. And I mostly fall in that last category, but I do want to play this song. It's a newer song. It's a cautionary tale about how to not do relationship when you are stuck together in a small place. So I'm going to play it for you. It's called The Way It's Done. Before I do, I'm just going to check real quick and make sure that the volume's a little low. Okay, that's helpful information, Bill. I am checking the chat to make sure what you got. Okay. Thank you. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and check these questions right now. Ask a question or suggest a topic. It says, any way to increase the volume? Yes, there is. We're running the risk of making it peak a little bit and clip out. So I will turn it up. Got it. Thank y'all. I appreciate those good questions and feedback. So what I'm going to do is take care of that. Turn up this volume a little bit, because I am my own sound guy tonight. Now the risk is that it will peak a little bit when we get to some louder songs, and it might clip out. So that's always the dance we're doing, to balance between those two things. But we'll give it a shot. In the meantime, I'm going to play this song. It's about how to not do relationship when you're stuck with somebody in a small space for a long period of time. See that clipping. I'm going to turn it back down just a hair, and we'll see if we find the magic space there. Seems like we're driving each other crazy. She can't relax and she says I'm lazy. Every little thing I do or say, well, she seems to think she got a better way. All frustrated and up all night, 'cause there's two ways to do it, but one that's right. Hands on her hips with the usual scowl, looking at the way I folded that towel. And sometimes I think I might end up dead, 'cause I didn't put the twisty thing back on the bread. You know what I'm talking about? Sure, I'll take the trash out in just a minute, but if you push it down a little, you could get more in it. And the way it's done is the way I do it, and the way I do it is the way it's done. You can do it your way all day long, if you don't mind doing it wrong. Well, we thought it might help with the situation, get away together for a little vacation. So we cleared the time, but we didn't get far, 'cause First, we had to pack the car. You know what I'm talking about. And we survived that part without going insane. And then she drove away slow in the fast lane. And the way it's done is the way I do it. And the way I do it is the way it's done. You can do it your way all day long, if you don't mind doing it wrong. Now there's which way the forks go, up or down, which way the toilet paper spins around. When you put your headlights dim or bright, when you slow down for the traffic light. How dark to go when you toast the bread, and how many pillows do you need on one bed? Whose turn it is to let out the cat, and are you really gonna put ketchup on that? You know what I'm saying? Which way to vote in the next election, and when we're gonna stop and ask for directions. And I don't want to start a whole bunch of drama, but don't get me going on the Oxford comma, 'cause the way it's done is the way I do it. The way I do it is the way it's done. You can do it your way all day long, if you don't mind doing it the way it's done. Now I love you, baby, and I hate to fight. I don't mean to sound like I'm always right. I mean, we've all got things we can learn from each other, and there's plenty of stuff still left to discover. So go, the way I do it is the way it's done. You can do it your way all day long, if you don't mind doing it the way it's done. That's the way I do it. Yeah, the way I do it. The way it's done. You can do it your way all day long, if you don't mind doing it wrong. Here comes big rock and roll finish. It's pretty low ceiling in here. All right, that's the way it's done. Catch the irony. Catch the irony. Okay. I'm gonna check back in on you on sound, because I know I want you to be able to hear. Is it all right? Thanks, Marie. Okay, now I'm going to not look at the chat anymore. Now I'm going to just play you songs, and I'll check on the questions from time to time. And there's more questions. Let's see. All right, I got that one. Pat LaMotte, we must be distant cousins, huh? All right, I'm gonna get that one. Thanks, Mary. I'm sorry about the volume issue. I hope it's a little bit better now. Let's see. Maybe Stupid in Love. Let me see, Andy. I'm gonna give you a definite maybe. Let's see. Okay, says that's great now. That's very helpful. Thank you, Lisa. Yes, I have sung that song for Tiana, and she doesn't mind it. She's awesome, and we know that it's actually, it goes both ways. As you hear in the song, there are annoying things that I do, and then annoying things that, or things that she does that annoy me, not necessarily annoying things, right? You get the difference. So, yeah, she's remarkably good-natured about songs like that. I've written her a few love songs too, so wrote her a new one actually a couple months ago, and I haven't really learned it well enough to play it for you. It wouldn't be a kindness to play it really badly, so next time we do this, I'll try to have that one ready. But I'm going to play you 3 new songs tonight, or by new, I mean songs that aren't recorded. But a couple of them have been written just in the last couple months. So, is that right? At least one of them is brand new. I've been writing lots of new songs in the last few months because I've promised the folks on Patreon a new song every month. And so it's been really fun to have a deadline, actually. Weirdly, that has not been stressful. That's been really a gift to me. And I woke up in the middle of the night last week and wrote another one. This newest one is a heavy song, but I'm really proud of it. So that'll come soon. Not tonight, but soon. And yeah, but right now I guess I want to play an old one. Right on the other side of the room, it's messy over there. I won't show you over there, but right over there, there's a rocking chair that my grandmother owned. My dad's mom, Sarah LaMotte, because that's how you say it in Maxton, Sarah. And she was a sweet, dear woman, so kind to me. And she loved me. She called me Snookums. She called all the little people Snookums. That was her thing that she said. And she spent the vast majority of her life married to my grandfather, Dr. Louis C. LaMotte. Dr. Louis C. LaMotte was a Presbyterian preacher, and he lived in Maxton for many years, served a small Presbyterian church there in Maxton. And he was a good man as well, and kind to me. I loved to go and visit them, and then when they were when I was pretty young, they would still sometimes travel themselves and come over this way to this little house that Granddad and Grandmama bought in 1939. Paid $1,700 for it, I believe, and it was built in 1917, so now it's 103 years old. It's got the original clawfoot bathtub. I was up there just yesterday, and I kind of love the place. It's still not insulated after all these years, but that bathtub's pretty special. And it just reminds me of my grandparents being there. Well, I've got some pictures, just some old black and whites. Everything was so simple. Or maybe I romanticize, but it still makes me smile. Looking back on those days, black and white fade to gray. And the gray eagle flies, and I'm riding along to the land of my father's father. I'm singing the song my grandmother used to sing, about a bushel and a peck and a hug around the neck, and I'm home. Now there's a sidewalk where the path used to be, where we planted a sapling. I can climb in the tree, I find I stand taller, with my feet on the land that my grandfather worked with his hands. And I'm riding along to the land of my father's father, singing the song my grandmother used to sing, about a bushel and a peck and a hug around the neck, and I'm home. Once in a while, I like to stop by and make sure that the place looks okay. I stand on the steps with a tear in my eye, and I'm wishing that I could just stay. So I'll take a few pictures with my dad's 35 of my grandparents' home, where they lived most of their lives, and a few in the garden where their roses still grow, and I'm hoping that somehow they know. And the gray eagle flies, and I'm riding along to the land of my father's father. I'm singing the song my grandmother used to sing, about a bushel and a peck and a hug around the neck, and I'm home, finally home. I'm home. I sure do love playing music for folks. I miss doing that in the same room, but I'm grateful for people making good decisions to give each other a little distance right now. It's working. That's the bottom line. It's funny because, of course, people said months ago, you know, if it works to do the social distancing and stuff, people will say it wasn't so big a deal. Like, why are we doing all that social distancing? It's because it's working. That's how that works. So I don't know. There are a lot of voices out there that have strong opinions about what we need to be doing, and some of them deeply concern me. And I don't know. As I sift through the voices, here's what I'm thinking. I really want to listen to the folks who've spent their entire life studying pandemics, epidemiologists. Those are the folks I'm listening to, and they seem to be fairly united, folks in that field. So I'm listening to them. I think it's interesting that there seems to be a camp of folks who kind of dismiss the entire notion of expertise. And that troubles me. Like, folks who spend their whole lives studying something, I want to take their opinions into account a little more than maybe TV pundits. That's not what I was planning to talk about. Let's see what I was going to do. Oh, I was going to play this newer song. This one's a few months old now. I have this little lake. It's really a big pond, but we call it a lake, Lake Tomahawk. It's a couple blocks from my house in Black Mountain, North Carolina, in the Appalachian Mountains. I love that little lake. I go walk around it, occasionally even jog around it. It's crazy. Doesn't happen often, but every once in a while, every 6 months or so, whether I need it or not, I go for a run. And that's where I go. I go run around that lake because I can't get lost. And every once in a while, there's this blue heron that hangs out at that lake. And I don't know, for me, there's just something magical about blue herons. They are so... There's something mystical. They seem like sages. They seem so focused and meditative. In fact, I remember years ago in Florida, I went down and spent a little time with some friends in Sarasota on the coast of the Gulf. Nobody says that, on the Gulf Coast. That's what I mean to say. And they lived a couple blocks from the water, and I kind of went down there to kind of recover a bit. I was coming off of a relationship, and it left a big hole in my heart. And so they let me have their granny flat, the Forbes family, and I stayed in their backyard for a while, and I just tried to heal. And I would go down and watch the sunset over the Gulf. And so often there was this blue heron that would fly in right before sunset and would stand there and watch the sunset with me. It's the most beautiful thing. And occasionally it would grab a fish, but it really seemed like it was just standing there to say goodnight to the sun. And I can't help but remember that when I sing this song. This song's called Here and Gone. It's kind of a meditation on impermanence, I guess. See if I remember the words. Brushstroke blue heron glides graceful and slow. Negative space on the cool morning gray. Turn of a feather and up she will go. Fade in the fog and then fly far away. I'm standing watching so still on the shore, holding the taste of her grace on my tongue. Savor the moment for just one moment more. Memory and mist will burn off with the day. Memory and mist will burn off with the day. Gone, not gone into nothing, but gone into everything. Gone, but here with me now, like the memories of all I have seen. Here and gone. Skin on my skin, safe in my arms in the warmth of my home. Bound to another as I'd never been. Breathing our promises solid as stone. Gone, not gone into nothing, but gone into everything. Gone, but here with me now, like the memories of all I have been. Like the memories of all I have been. Here and gone. Here and gone. All of the magic and all of the mystery, all in the smallest of things. All of a sudden it shatters my soul, then it's gone like a bird on the wing. It's gone like a bird on the wing. Brown as the winter grass, hollow as reed, quiet as morning recedes into day, fractured by gentleness, captured and free, painting a picture with no words to say. Gone, not gone into nothing, but gone into everything. Gone, but here with me now, like the memories of all I have been. Like the memories of all I have been. Here and gone. Here and gone. That's a new one. It's called Here and Gone. Just a few months old, that one. Again, that's a Patreon song. I wrote it because I owed my Patreon peeps a song. So they get to hear everything first. Actually, on the last day of April, I wrote a song and I uploaded it because it was the last day of April. And I had been musing it. I'd been cooking it in the cognitive crockpot for a couple of weeks. But suddenly it was the last day of April and I had to get it up because I'd promised people that I would put it up there on the website. So I did. And it was fun to just put that first version up there. And now I've rewritten it a couple of times. I'm going to play that one for you as well tonight. And I look forward to it. That song is really close to my heart at the moment. It really speaks to the moment we're living in right now. So I'll play that for you in a minute. But first, I want to play you this other song. Because my friend Marie asked me for it, and it's a really good request for tonight because we just had Mother's Day. And I'm also going to look at questions. So I'm going to switch guitars and then look at questions. That's what I'm going to do. Here we go. So funny that these little knobs on the guitars have no function whatsoever tonight. Normally when I'm on stage, I would pay some attention to checking the volume and setting the EQ properly on the guitar, but doesn't matter. It's just a guitar. The electronics don't count. Let's see what folks are saying. Okay, volume's much better now. Woohoo! Right on. Thanks, Mary. And hey, Andy. It's so good to have you all here. Great. Thanks, Marie. Yes, I will follow up there. Excellent. Thank you, sweet friend. A lively song. We could use the energy if you have time to share it tonight. Okay, I'm hoping, Emily, that last one might have that, and I'll try to do some more lively as well. Cool. All right. Let's see. Um, Great. Okay. Now I want to play you another song. I was going to play you this one because it was so recently Mother's Day. So I'll play a very old song that I wrote for my mom when I was really young, and this is not a lively song, Emily. I'm sorry, but we'll get to a lively one. I promise. That will come soon. In fact, the song that Emily, you mentioned the lyric that I posted today on my mailing list. I'm going to play that one for you in a minute. Oh, this is the wrong guitar. Wrong tuning. Sorry. Let's switch it up. Let's see. We want this one. Okay. Lots of guitars. I brought 3 guitars tonight. And what's really funny is that as I was figuring out what songs I wanted to play, I kind of wished I had 4. I have a 4th one that I play on stage and I didn't bring it. I know that's really excessive. What a ridiculously privileged thing to have these 4 beautiful guitars to play. Super grateful for that. It saves you having to hear me tune a lot, so that's the gift in it. And since I'm not flying anywhere, just driving down the road to my office, then I could just throw them all in the car and bring them. It's always kind of moving to me. I really like playing the new songs because, you know, they're fresh and they're very close to what I'm thinking and feeling right now. But it's really moving when people reach back and request a song that's ancient and that I haven't played in a long time. And this is one of those. My friend Marie, who's watching in Australia, asked me to play this one. Mother's Day song. So, and I'm pretty sure my parents are watching, so I'll send this one to you, Mom, because it's always been your song. In days of peanut butter, when my backyard was much bigger, and untold treasures lay beneath the park across the street, dreamed of coming days when I'd walk right past the sidewalk and no one could tell me what to eat. One day the world got bigger, I rode my bike to school, and because I was a dreamer, I was taken for a fool. They told me I must win, and that to win it must be tough. I never really cared for all that. That's what Mom would say, 'cause that's how you start making things go your way. You can do whatever you choose, just dream and work and pray, and believe those dreams will all be true one day. Christmas I was 15, I got a new guitar, I dreamed that someday we would be the friends that we now are. And now I make my living just by singing songs for you. See, my life, it's just a dream come true. So this guitar and I will hit the road when springtime rolls around. We'll have no destination, we'll play from town to town. The The world will be my sidewalk and I'll sing what truth I know. And I know Mom will worry when I go. But follow your heart, that's what Mom will say. 'Cause that's how you start making things go your way. You can do whatever you choose, just dream and work and pray. And believe those dreams will all be true one day. I believe those dreams will all be true one day. Thanks, y'all. I'm enjoying playing music for you tonight. I hope you're having fun listening. It's just nice. I'm so grateful to get to do this for a living for almost 30 years now. I am coming up on 30 years of playing music for a living as my only job, and I'm really grateful for that. Of course, I took a couple of years out to go do a master's degree in Australia and hang out with some of you in Australia, and to including Emily and Marie and perhaps other friends who were here. And I wrote a couple books, so now I get to talk about stuff as well. And you know, I'm also celebrating, and this, I know I've mentioned this twice already tonight, and I don't want to keep hitting it. I'm sorry that I'm hitting it a third time, but this is going to be the last time I mention it, I think. So I just on Sunday had the 6-month anniversary of the Patreon thing, and I want you to know what that is really quickly in case you want to be a part of it. It's sort of my innermost circle online, and it's where I'm sharing everything that's new, and I do little hangouts with the group from time to time, and we get to chat and know each other, and there's developing this cool sense of community because these are all really kind people, and it's lovely. So I share a lot of stuff on the Patreon community that I don't share elsewhere, and it's just really special. And it is a subscription thing. You pay a little bit for it. I feel really funny about that. I wish it could just all be free, but I made the entry level as accessible as possible. So you can pay $1 to be a part of it, $1 a month, and so that's $12 a year, which is a little less than a CD. And the people who pay $1 get the exact same thing as the people who pay $100 a month or $125 a month, which there are people doing that, which is incredibly moving to me. But the $1 is also incredibly moving to me. It's just lovely to feel supported and like folks want to stay in touch and keep up with me. So if you want to check that out, I'm sure that Matt is putting links around so that you can find it if you want to. It'd be lovely to have you be a part of it. And if not, that's completely fine too. These are just songs for you. Oh, I should say there's a tip jar. If you want to donate, there's a button on Crowdcast. You can donate. There's a tip jar, but it doesn't matter. I'm just happy that you're here. I'm happy to get to play songs for you. Okay, so Lively, Emily, coming at you. And somebody requested this song, so I'm going to play a drum song. And we might peak out the meters here. We'll see what happens. All right, y'all, here it comes. I'm going to tilt that down a little bit so you can see the drum, but not too far, because you need to see my hat, right? That's very important. Okay. Drink deeply when the wine is poured. Pass around the drinking gourd, yeah. May your spirit be restored. Drink deeply when the wine is poured. Now rest a while and be renewed. My friends, we have much work to do. Much work to do, not murk. Really much work to do, that's what it is. With love our cause and our reward. Drink deeply when the wine is poured. Now take your glass and lift it up, or grape juice in a plastic cup. No matter where the love is stored, drink deeply when the wine is poured. So my filing cabinet over there is rattling. I've got an extra instrument. It's pretty cool. Drink deeply when the wine is poured. Pass around the drinking gourd, yeah. May your spirit be restored. Drink deeply when the wine is poured. And though we may not all agree, let us sing in harmony, yeah. 'Cause different notes make up a chord. Drink deeply when the wine is poured. Now y'all can join me. There's a little bit of call and response. We're gonna go all Pete Seeger here. I'll say drink deeply when the wine is poured, and you say deeply when the wine is poured, and you just give it back to me. You'll see you'll see how it works. Here it comes. Drink deeply when the wine is poured, deeply poured. Drink deeply when the wine is poured. Now join with all who drink this wine, in many lands and many times. Precious children of the Lord, drink deeply when the wine is poured. Last time. Drink deeply when the wine is poured, and pass around the drinking gourd, yeah. May your spirit be restored. Drink deeply when the wine is poured, yeah. Drink deeply when the wine is poured. Drink deeply when the wine is poured. All right, dance party. There it was. Okay, I want to play my new one. Here it comes. Let's see. It's on this one. Yep. Open G with a C in the bass. In case you're wondering, that's what's going on here. All right, let's see what's happening. 1, 2, 3. I have to count it off so the band in my head can start with me. That's how that works. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looking out my Monday window with so few cars driving by it. Main street of this river town is strangely still and quiet. The days flow by so slowly with no rhythm to the song. Back in March there was a meeting at the VFW. Said we're all in the same boat, but it really isn't true. 'Cause some boats have big motors and some have wooden oars. Some folks are in the water trying to swim back to the shore. Our lives hang by a thread, but you weave those threads together. They will make a rope that's strong enough to hold on to each other. If we all will pull a little, then just maybe we'll pull through. As long as I am here, we'll be here for you. There are many who need comfort, there are many mouths to feed. So bring what you can offer, and ask for what you little torn delight. You don't have to say you're okay, let's just stick to what is true. You don't have to smile and fake it, God knows I'm struggling too. Here with you. Our lives hang by a thread. To weave those threads together, they will make a rope that's strong enough to hold on to each other. If we all will pull a little, then just maybe we'll pull through. As long as I am here, said as long as I am here, I will be here for you. That's my new one. That one's kind of close to my heart right now. Thanks for letting me share it with you. It's like showing you my new baby. You have to hold it very gently and watch out for the soft spot on the top of its head. Yeah, okay, so, wow, it's been almost an hour of playing music. No, that's not right. Yes, it's been almost an hour. Math is not my strong suit. Crazy. It's been like 53 minutes. And so normally I wouldn't have a laptop in front of me while I'm playing music, and I probably wouldn't know exactly what time it is, but there it is. So I definitely want to play a couple more songs. Before I do, I will check on the questions and see what's going on. There's 6 of them. Let's see what's happening. Will I be playing Shadows? Oh, maybe. Let's see. Let's see if we can make it happen. Hey, Lisa, cool. So you're getting ready to fly back to Scotland after 17 years in England. Wow. That's a big transition. Sure, I would be honored to play that for you. I wasn't planning on it, but I will. Claire Butler, what has enriched you most from the interviews you've been doing with friends and people you admire? That's a great question, Claire. And it would take so long to answer it because there is a lot that has inspired me. But mostly it's just been the spirit of generosity. There's been a generosity of spirit and a spirit of generosity in those interviews. Y'all who have no idea what we're talking about, I've done a series of 20 interviews called Sustaining Our Spirits. If you want to check them out, you can go to davidlamotte.com/SOS. That'll take you to all the ones we've done so far. Or if you're on Crowdcast, you can just click that follow button at the top, and that will let you know when I'm doing new ones, because I'm going to do one on Tuesday. A longtime friend. We played a bunch of music together over the years around campfires in Kerrville and on stage together in Black Mountain. He came and opened for me one time, and I just really deeply admire what he does. So we're going to be talking on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern, and you're welcome to tune in. If you click that follow button at the top on Crowdcast, you can do that. And if you aren't on Crowdcast and you can't find your way there, go to davidlamotte.com/SOS, which stands for Sustaining Our Spirits, and you can click through to get to Crowdcast and then follow. Hope that wasn't too much. There you go. But in terms of inspiration, wow. I loved it when Jonathan Bird said the word for the day is empathy. That was really good for me. I loved it when Gareth Higgins said, it found its way into the song I just played, bring what you can and ask for what you need. That's really been sticking with me in this particular time. There's so much that has moved me from these folks who've taught me about how to be in the world. David asks, how long did it take you to master playing the filing cabinet? What's amazing is that I just got that like that, man. I tried it once tonight and it worked. Amazing. Some people just have that gift of being filing cabinet aficionados. Let's see. Lisa and I just got our Doombacks out and are playing along. Awesome. Right on. Mike, that's great. Thank you for playing with me. Super cool. I'm glad to be in your band. All right, we're almost done. Let's see what else here. Please tell David. Oh, I can read it myself. Betsy, thank you. Adore this new song. Thank you. I really kind of love that one too. It's funny how it came. Jill Patterson Tolbert, my longtime friend, asked what was the name of the one I sang for my mom. It's called, thanks, Jill. It's called Days of Peanut Butter, actually, and it's from my second album, my first CD, because my first album was just on cassette. My first album was called Barefoot. The second album was called In the Light. It's the first CD I ever put out. I've got this rockin' mullet on the cover of it. It's awesome. So, and all my music, all my CDs are free to download on my website, davidlamotte.com. It's pay what you want, and I'm not offended if you want to pay zero. I know a lot of people are struggling right now. Go download all the albums if you want to. That one's called In the Light. It's free. Hope you like it. And let's see. We're almost there. Bunch of questions. It's super cool. Bicycle Man, Jackie. Oh man, I might not get it in tonight, but thank you for asking. It might happen. Let's see what happens. I think it probably won't, but I'll play it for you next time, Jackie. And I love you, and I hope you're well in Costa Rica. And let's see. Tim says, I'm an academic instructor at a correctional facility in Mississippi. Suggestions for books and teachings on nonviolence I can use with my students. Wow, great question. Let's follow up. Would you send me a website, or rather a message through my website at davidlamotte.com, Tim? I strongly recommend that folks study Gene Sharp, Genesharp. Gene Sharp is a really good guy to study. Also, my friend Daniel Buttry has written some really accessible stuff on nonviolence. Some of his stuff is faith-based and some of it is broader. But both of the Dan Buttry is his name, Buttry, and I recommend you check him out. And Gene Sharp, Gene Sharp, like a sharp pencil. And of course, we read a lot about King, but reading King in the original is awesome. I so highly recommend just reading, especially interviews he's done, because they tend to be very natural speech. It's very accessible. So those are starting places. Thank you. We'll follow up more on that. I appreciate you asking and valuing my opinion on that. Wow, I'm reading a lot here. I promise I'm going to play a couple more songs, y'all. My wife and I saw you a lot of years ago when you opened for America in Virginia. That was the coolest weekend. It was so special getting to do that. Celebrating our 27th anniversary, and she loves Just Like Me. Oh, really? Okay, well, the weird thing is that I'll do that. Here it comes. Ari, coming your way. Happy anniversary. Let's see. Thank you for those kind words, TJ. Big hugs to you. Big virtual hugs. And hey, Carla. Yeah, Carla and I wrote a song together many years ago. Carla Sofka. Her academic work inspired a song that I wrote called A Place to Go. And I owe you that song, Carla. Give me some warning and I'll work it up. It would be a train wreck if I tried to play it right now, because I would need to practice a little bit. But I'm proud of that song. So thanks and love to you. Okay, I'm going to play Just Like Me. And I'm going to close these questions again. I was planning to play about an hour tonight, and we're going to play a good bit more than that because, there's songs to play. Almost this tuning. Here we go. Ari, thanks for requesting this tonight. The song's been in my heart a lot lately because it's, well, it just relates to the whole conversation about essential workers. I tend to believe everybody's essential, So the language is strange. And I hope, one of my hopes for this time is that we will emerge from it with a renewed appreciation for folks who are often taken for granted, and we find that we can't live without them, I wrote this song in a hotel in Beaumont, Texas. After hearing a house cleaner get blessed out, was trying to sleep late, but I guess he forgot to put his do not disturb on his door, and she came around to clean rooms and knocked on the door and said housekeeping a couple of... It kind of scared me. I actually was getting dressed to go on up there and see if I could diffuse the situation a little bit, and it ended before I got out my door, but she stayed in my heart, or my imagining of her stayed in my heart. I shouldn't presume that I really know about her life, but this is the life that I imagined. It was getting close to the holidays when nobody wants to be in a hotel. The song's called Just Like Me. I work at the Super 8 down there by the interstate. I do the things nobody wants to do. It keeps dinner on my plate. I keep my mouth shut, I'm never late to knock on doors and clean up people's rooms. I can't stand, but holidays aren't much at home. I'd quit living there alone before you could ring the silver Christmas bell. My mama and my brother used to laugh at me, 'cause I like my presents best when they're still there beneath the tree. I can still dream about what each one might be. Ain't that just like me? Billy works security. Sometimes he will talk to me. When I get in, he's almost going home. He went to the same grade school. He was. My mama and my brother used to laugh at me, 'cause I like my presents best when they're still there under the tree. I can still dream about what each one might be. Ain't that just like me? If Billy'd take me out there on that highway, maybe we could leave this loneliness behind. But I guess I'm just not that bold. A little scared, a little old. Blessed be the broken yellow line. My mama and my brother used to laugh at me. I can still dream about what each one might be. Ain't that just like me? Happy 27th anniversary. I'm coming up on my 16th anniversary myself in just a couple weeks. And that's kind of exciting. Like our marriage is old enough to drive. Well, let's see what songs. What did I promise? I promised somebody something, and I don't remember now what it was. I said I would do it, and I don't remember. All right, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and play 2 more songs, and I will rain check anything else because it's getting kind of late. I want to say goodnight to my kiddo before he goes to bed. Normally this would be movie night, but I switched it up because tomorrow night there's a bunch of cool stuff happening online, including my friend BJ Liederman doing a show from the White Horse, our local music room, and I just didn't want to be against that. So you can go to whitehorseblackmountain.com to check out that show tomorrow night and check all the details and stuff. I don't want to tell you the wrong time. But if you're thinking, BJ Liederman, I know that name from somewhere, it's because you've heard it in this voice, in this context many times. Our theme music was composed by BJ Liederman. Got it? That's NPR. He wrote the theme music for like 4 of the flagship programs on NPR. So He's a brilliant and cheeky and quirky musician, not always suitable for work. You can check it out. Y'all, I want to end on a hopeful note. So I'm going to play a song called Hope. This came out many years ago. I wrote it in the late 90s. Late 90s, there was this one particular summer where there were just a ton of church burnings across the South. Lots of traditionally African American churches got burned down by angry white people, and it was just heartbreaking, and as it always is when racism rears its ugly head. And there's so much work to do to heal that. And I think most of that work does not involve being hateful toward the hateful people. I don't think that really helps a whole lot. Sometimes the best way to oppose what's wrong is to build what's right, model a different way. And of course, explore our own complicity, which is part of the thing. And that doesn't mean you have to feel guilty. It means you have to take responsibility. There's a difference between guilt and responsibility. But it's subtle work and it's painful work. I really firmly believe it's the only way we make progress. And in that particular time, that particular summer, that particular issue, there was a pretty inspiring response to that, which was that volunteers came from all over. I think the Quakers mostly organized it, but folks came from lots of traditions, and people who vehemently take no tradition at all showed up to say, you know what, we're not about that hatred. And not only are we not about that hatred, but we're not foolish enough to think that you can hate hatred away. If you want to combat people or if you want to, I guess, interrupt the work of people who believe in burning things down, that somehow that will make the world a better place. The best way to interrupt that work is to build something, and build something stable and enduring. So people showed up from all over to rebuild all those churches that were burned down that summer, and they were all rebuilt by volunteers. And that got a lot less publicity. Almost nobody heard about that. So I wrote a song about it because I felt like it's a story that needs to be told. It's the kind of thing I need to remind myself. When the toxicity of the hatred in the air gets to me, I need to be reminded that the best way to combat that, nope, I did it again. The best way to interrupt that is to build something. In the Southland, we're lighting the night sky with a fire from a church burning down. When the sun comes up again, white and black men stand and stare at the soot on the ground. They raise up their weapons and they summon their strength, and they cut at the wood with their swords. But they're striking their blows against hatred, 'cause they're hammering nails into boards. I keep thinking I hear the 4 horsemen, and turning around to see it's just the Pony Express again. They've got a message for me. Got a lot of hope for the future. Got a lot of faith things can work out fine. Got a lot of dreams for a better world. Got a lot of work to do if I'm gonna make them mine. Yeah, 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 yeah. is still mostly divided, and I don't see much color tonight. And I know that it's all complicated, but the issues are not black and white, no. But how can we come any closer if I just shake my head where I stand? There can never be any handshakes until somebody puts out their hand. Got a lot of hope for the future, got a lot of faith things can work out fine, got a lot of dreams for a better world, got a lot of work to do, but I'm gonna make them mine. And got a lot of hope, got a lot of faith, yeah, yeah. Got a lot of dreams, got a lot of work to do. I got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do, yeah. Got a lot of work to do. Got a lot of I was listening to Dolly Parton's America recently. If you haven't checked out that podcast, you really need to check it out. It's an amazing journey. I think it's in 6 parts, something like that. I highly recommend it. And they interviewed one of the guys who was imprisoned with Nelson Mandela on Robben Island and off the coast of Cape Town. And I went there a few years back. Actually, I went there. The guy I mentioned earlier, Dan Buttrey, he and I and a friend of ours from Zimbabwe, Lance Muteo, put on a training for 180 Zambian Baptists, a peacemaking training and nonviolence training. And it was a great privilege for me to be a part of that. And then I went down to Cape Town because I wanted to interview this guy for the book I was working on, World Changing 101, which came out 6 or 7 years ago. And when I went down to Cape Town, I wanted to go to Robben Island because, of course, I deeply admire Nelson Mandela, and I wanted to just take that in. So I went out there, and I got a tour of Robben Island from a former prisoner, which is what they do there. Folks who were imprisoned on Robben Island as political prisoners now are employed as tour guides there. So that's pretty hard hitting. It's very real, to get to hang out with those folks. And the guy that took me on that tour was interviewed on Dolly Parton's America, this podcast I was listening to. And he was talking about how Nelson Mandela really loved Dolly Parton, that he would listen after some time that he had spent at Robben Island. The guards allowed him to have a radio or to have some form of music for a little while, tape player, I guess. And he really loved Dolly Parton, which is really a fascinating thing. But it was wild to hear this guy that I had hung out with on that podcast, with these dots connecting all the way across the globe. Nelson Mandela and hope, that's what it was. Because I think our cultural narrative about hope is that hope is cute and naive, and that cynicism is realistic. And I want to just remind myself, and maybe y'all, that sometimes history surprises us in beautiful ways. Nobody would have believed in the late 80s that Nelson Mandela was soon to get out of prison after 27 years in prison, and then he would be elected president of South Africa, and South Africa would go on, and there wouldn't be a mass bloodbath and genocide in doing that. It would be there would be violence, but it would be a largely peaceful transition. And then he was elected president of South Africa, and South Africa created a civil rights protections. I shouldn't say generous, because civil rights are rights. They're not granted, right? But has the broadest civil rights protections of any constitution in the world. In South Africa. Like, if you had said that to some friends in 1987, here's what I think is going to happen, they would have laughed you out of the room. And in fact, it's what did happen, right? So Hope for me, I've said this before, but my favorite words about hope are from Václav Havel. He said, hope is not prognostication. Hope is an orientation of the spirit. So hope is not prediction. It's not what you think is going to happen. It's where you point your life regardless of the odds. The odds were not good for Mandela and the ANC in the late 80s. And yes, things are not perfect in South Africa now, but they are worlds away from where they were. So much better. So I guess I say all that to encourage you as being foolishly optimistic. Hope has to do with where you point your life, because despair is the other option, and despair leads to inaction, and inaction leads pretty consistently in the same direction. Action can lead to something better happening or not. Things don't always work out, right? But it's our best bet statistically to try. So hang in there, friends. The story is not over yet. The story is not over yet. As my buddy Reverend Barber says, if love hasn't won, then the story isn't over yet. I want to sing you one last song. It's an a cappella song, and it was a request I got on Facebook today. Oh, Shadows, that was it. Okay, I'm going to sing you 2 songs. Thanks, Val. I'm totally going to play you Shadows. And I'm going to play my friend who's moving back from Scotland, Shadows. Thank you. I'm going to play Shadows, and then I'm going to sing that a cappella song. That's what I'm going to do. So let me get that other guitar so I can play Shadows. A version of it. Normally Shadows has the little bouncy effect that makes things bounce around, but I'm going to do a completely acoustic version of Shadows tonight. On what guitar? This guitar? Maybe this guitar. Oh no, it was that one. It was the one I had in my hands. Yeah. Thanks for your patience, y'all. Thanks for hanging out for the whole show tonight. Goodness gracious, we're coming up on an hour and a half. I need to let y'all get back to your lives here shortly. So, here's a little instrumental song. It's called Shadows. Hey, thanks y'all for being here. Um, Thanks for folks who threw into the tip jar. That's great. But more importantly, thanks for the gift of time. I meant it when I wrote years ago. I didn't play this song tonight, but I meant it when I wrote that there's no present like time. Thank you for sharing some of yours with me. It's been a privilege to play music for you tonight. And I kind of got lost in that. Godspeed, blessings on your trip back to Scotland after so many years abroad in England. And thanks for asking for that. And Val, thank you for reminding me. I want to sing a song that I almost never sing, and it's written by my friend Tom Payne, wonderful man out in California, brilliant songwriter, and not a hugely known songwriter, but he writes really good stuff. And I recorded this song on my children's album, SS Bathtub, many years ago. I think it's the last song on that album. I very intentionally designed that kids record so that it would taper down so that people could play it for their kids at night and they would fade out by the end, hopefully. So this is the right one to leave with you tonight, I think. So I'm going to look one more time at the questions, and there are 4 of them. And Shadows, great. Thank you, Val. And Shadows, what's the one where you use a credit card? That one is called Keep the Change. Jill, hey Jill, nice to see you. And I will play that for you next time. And you're certainly welcome, Lisa. Blessings on your travels. Excellent. All right, friends, I think I've covered it all. So I will close out here. Let's see. This song is called 10 Lucky Pennies. It's by my friend Tom Payne, Payne, if you want to look up Tom. I'm hoping I can remember it because it's a wonderful song. It deserves to be remembered. Thanks again for your time tonight. If life is a question and the answer is time, are 10 lucky pennies the same as a dime? Come sing me a riddle, I'll sing you a rhyme. If life is a question and the answer is time, if time is a highway and moments make change, are pennies and moments just one and the same? Like a river makes oceans from small drops of rain. If change is if time is a highway and moments make change, if change is a stranger with no lessons to teach, too plain to reach out to on a cold city street, who will count all our blessings in times such as these? If change is a stranger with no lessons to teach, there are clouds in your pillows and sparks in your sheets, but the ants on the sill know each second is sweet. Sleep, little raindrop, sleep. Raindrops and rivers, moments and time, questions and answers, riddles and rhymes. Are 10 lucky pennies the same as a dime? If life is a question and the answer is time, if life is a question and the answer is time. Y'all be gentle with yourselves and each other. Thanks for the gift of this time. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you round and round. Come hang out with me in all the various places. I'm not going to mention Patreon again, but if you want to, you could join me there, or on Facebook, or come join my mailing list on davidlamotte.com. Whatever you want to do, it'd be lovely to keep in touch. Thank you, and be good to yourselves. Bye bye.
Y'all be gentle with yourselves and each other. Thanks for the gift of this time. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you round and round. Come hang out with me in all the various places. I'm not going to mention Patreon yet, but if you want to, there. Or Facebook, or come join my mailing list on davidlamotte.com. Whatever you want to do, we'd love to keep in touch. Thank you.